Ethan Cole laughs and hooks 2 fingers under my badge the second I step into the VIP room. Wrong floor, nurse, he says, and 3 men in tailored suits laugh with him while my access card bends against his knuckles. His hand is on the one badge that opens the oxygen override cabinet for every room on this wing. Behind him, his mother's monitor skips, then drags, and the pulse ox number drops from 91 to 88. Then Dr. Bell reaches past me and snatches the crash tablet from my hand like I'm the problem, and that is when the room makes its first real mistake. The air smells like sanitizer, hot plastic, and someone's sharp cedar cologne. White light pours off the glass walls and turns everybody pale. Mrs. Cole lies flat under a cream blanket, lips dry, skin too gray for a woman this rich. The oxygen line hisses at her nose. The sound is wrong. Too soft. Too thin. Give me that, I say, and reach for the tablet. Dr. Bell shifts it behind his back. Ethan lets my badge snap back against my chest and smiles like this is entertainment bought and paid for. You don't give orders in my family's room, he says. I keep my eyes on the monitor. Heart rate 112. Respiration shallow. Sat 87 now. The waveform is clipping at the edge. Not a panic spike. Not random. A feed problem. Her line is starving. I say. Open the wall cabinet. Another laugh. Quieter this time. Nervous around the edges. I'm Ava Johnson, night shift float, trained to work fast and speak once. I don't waste words when a machine is already telling the truth. Mrs. Cole's fingers twitch against the sheet. Tiny movement. Easy to miss. I don't miss it. Did you hear me? I ask. Ethan steps between me and the bed. He is tall, expensive, and used to blocking doors with his body until people apologize. My mother has the best team in the state, he says. What she does not need is a floor nurse improvising in the VIP suite. The room goes still after that. Not calm. Tight. The kind of stillness that comes right before something breaks. I angle left and catch the flow meter on the wall. Someone turned the backup feed down. Not all the way. Just enough to look normal from a distance. My mouth. Tastes like copper. Dr. Bell sees where I'm looking and moves too fast. That tells me more than his face does. Open it, I say again. Now. He doesn't. He gives Ethan a quick glance instead. That is mistake number 2. Mrs. Cole coughs once. Dry? Barely there. But the monitor answers for her with a jagged drop. 84. The nurse by the sink inhales so sharply I hear it over the machines. I hold out my hand. My badge. Ethan doesn't give it back. He taps it against his palm and smiles at the room. You walk in here and start a scene, then expect me to hand over control? It already is a scene, I say. You just haven't caught up. His smile thins. Good. Let it. I step to the side and he grabs my wrist. Not hard enough to bruise. Hard enough to stall. His watch flashes under the lights. Heavy silver. Red second hand. The monitor drops again. 82. Dr. Bell finally moves toward the wall, but not to open the cabinet. He reaches for the settings panel instead. Wrong move. Very wrong. Don't touch that. I snap. My voice lands harder than his. Even Ethan hears it. Dr. Bell freezes with 2 fingers in the air. For half a second, no one breathes. Then a phone rings. Sharp. Loud. Ethan blinks and ignores it. A second phone starts up near the window. Then a third. Not one ringtone matches the others. The sound spreads through the room like a fire finding oxygen. Dr. Bell looks down at his screen and the color leaves his face first. Ethan answers on the 4th ring, still gripping my badge, still standing in my way. He opens his mouth to shut someone down. He doesn't get that far. Whatever he hears strips the smile clean off him. And when his eyes lift back to me, he is no longer looking at a nurse he can laugh at. The room does not breathe after that call. It tightens, like every sound is being held back at once. Ethan does not lower the phone right away. His grip on my badge loosens, just enough for it to tilt in his fingers. Say that again, he says, slower now, and the edge is gone from his voice. The monitor answers before the caller does. Another drop, another stretched beep that drags. Across the glass walls. 81. I pull my wrist free. No one stops me this time. Not even him. That is the shift. Small but real. I step to the wall cabinet and press my badge flat against the scanner. It blinks red. Denied. For half a second, the room freezes again. That is wrong. That cabinet has never denied me. Not on this floor. Not on any shift. I try again. Red. A A soft click inside the panel, then silence. Someone changed the permissions. Not removed. Redirected. That is worse. Who touched this system? I ask. No one answers. Dr. Bell looks at the floor. The nurse by the sink backs up a step, like distance will keep her safe. Ethan finally lowers the phone. His eyes are different now. Focused. Searching. They are asking for you, he says. 3 departments. 2 hospitals. And a name I recognize from the board. He studies my face like it might give him something he missed. It will not. The monitor drops again. 79. The waveform flattens at the edges. Not a full collapse. Not yet. But it is heading there. I move to the oxygen line and follow it with my fingers. The connector is warm. Too warm. I twist it slightly. The hiss changes pitch. Not stronger. Just strained. Like pressure is fighting itself somewhere deeper in the wall. That is not a bedside issue. That is upstream. You did not just change this room. I say, mostly to myself. You changed the feed. Dr. Bell looks up at that. Quick. Sharp. He knows I am right. That is mistake number 3. Ethan steps closer again, but slower this time. Careful. Explain, he says. Not a command now. A request trying to sound like one. I point to the panel. This cabinet is tied to the wing's backup oxygen grid. When the main flow dips, this takes over. But someone rerouted access. Not just locked it. Rerouted it. I glance at the monitor. 78. The room feels smaller. The lights feel harsher. If I cannot open this, I cannot stabilize her here. I add. A second phone starts ringing again. Not his. Dr. Bell's. He does not pick it up. It rings 3 times, then stops. Then starts again. Different number. Same urgency. The nurse by the sink whispers something under her breath. I do not catch the words. I do not need to. Panic has a sound. It is in the way people stop moving. I crouch and pull the lower panel open by hand. It should not open without authorization. It does anyway. Another problem. Inside, the lines are labeled. Clean. Organized. Except for one junction that is not standard. A small splitter. Temporary. Recent. I touch it. It is hot. Too hot to be idle. Someone is pulling flow from this room. Not losing it. Taking it. I look up. Where else is this connected? Dr. Bell shakes his head. Too fast. Nowhere, he says. I hold his gaze. He looks away first. Ethan hears that silence. He turns back to his phone and scrolls with his thumb, fast, controlled, like he is piecing something together in real time. Another call. He mutters, more to himself than to me. He answers it without looking up. Yes, I have her here. A pause. His jaw tightens. No, no one told me that. The monitor dips again. 76. The room tilts towards something it cannot hide anymore. I press the connector back into place and feel the resistance. Not blockage. Competition. I stand. If this line is feeding somewhere else, then we are not the only room losing pressure. I say. The words land harder than I expect. Even I hear it. The nurse by the sink gasps. Dr. Bell finally steps back from the panel like it might burn him. Ethan lowers the phone slowly this time. His eyes move from me to the wall, then to the door, like the answer might be outside this room. He does not speak right away. He does not need to. The next beep stretches longer than any before it. And somewhere beyond the glass, another alarm starts to echo down the hallway. The alarm outside grows louder. Not a single tone, but a staggered chorus. One room after another picking it up like a chain reaction moving down the hall. Ethan turns toward the glass wall, his reflection splitting across the panels. Then he looks back at me. How many rooms? He asks. Not angry now. Calculating. I glance at the junction again, the heat still building under my fingertips. At least this wing, I say. Maybe more if they tied it into the central line. The words settle heavy in the air. Dr. Bell takes a step back, then another, until his shoulders touch the counter behind him. He looks smaller now. Not in size. In certainty. The monitor dips again. 74. The waveform trembles like it is trying to hold shape and failing. I move to the bedside and adjust the nasal line, slow and precise, buying seconds, not solving anything. Mrs. Cole's chest rises shallow, uneven. Her fingers curl, then still. That small movement again. Still there. Still fighting. Good. We need manual override, I say. Not from this cabinet. From the control panel. Dr. Bell shakes his head. That is locked behind admin clearance, he says. His voice cracks on the last word. Another phone rings. This time it is the nurse by the sink. She fumbles with it, almost drops it, then answers. Her eyes widen halfway through the first sentence. She does not speak again. She just listens, then slowly lowers the phone. They are shutting down elective floors, she says. They think it is a system failure. I nod once. That is what it looks like from the outside. Clean. Accidental. Contained. It is none of those things. I turn back to Ethan. Your badge, I say. He does not hesitate this time. He pulls it from his pocket and hands it over. The plastic is heavier than mine. Executive clearance. I press it to the wall panel. Green. The cabinet unlocks with a soft click. Too late for pride. Just in time for action. I open it and pull the manual regulator forward. The dial resists, stiff from lack of use. I turn it anyway. The hiss deepens. Stronger now. The monitor responds, not with a jump, but with a pause that does not stretch as far. 75. Then 76. Small. Fragile. But real. The room exhales without meaning to. Not relief. Not yet. Just less fear. I keep my hand on the dial, feeling the pressure push back against my fingers. It is not stable. It pulses, like something else is drawing from the same source. Ethan watches the numbers climb 1 point, then stall. His jaw tightens again. Where is it going, he asks. I do not answer right away. I follow the line again in my head, through the wall, into the shared conduit that feeds the wing, then down to the central distribution room. 2 floors below. That is where the control lives. That is where someone can redirect flow without anyone seeing it at the bedside. Basement level, I say. Central distribution. Dr. Bell straightens at that. That area is restricted, he says quickly. Too quickly. Another mistake. Ethan hears it. I see it in the way his eyes narrow, not at me, but at the doctor. Who has access, he asks. Dr. Bell opens his mouth, then closes it. The silence answers for him. The monitor steadies for 1 more beat, then dips again. 75. The regulator hums under my hand. It cannot hold if the pull continues. Not at this rate. I look at Ethan. If we stay here, we lose her again, I say. The words land clean. No room for argument. He nods once. Decision made. We go down, he says. The nurse by the sink steps forward, then stops. Fear holds her in place. Dr. Bell does not move at all. Ethan turns to him. You are coming, he says. Not a request this time. The alarm outside shifts pitch, sharper, closer. Another room just joined the chain. I take one last look at Mrs. Cole, at the monitor fighting to stay above 75, at the thin line of oxygen that is no longer enough. Then I release the dial and step toward the door. The second my hand touches the handle, the lights flicker once, just a fraction of a second, and the monitor drops again. The lights flicker again as I push the door open, just long enough to make the hallway look unfamiliar, like the building shifted while no one was watching. The alarm hits harder out here. Louder. Closer. It echoes off the polished floors and glass walls, bouncing from room to room until it becomes one continuous sound. Not random. Not isolated. System-wide. Ethan steps out behind me, his pace faster now, no hesitation left. Dr. Bell follows, but slower, like each step costs him something. I do not wait. I move down the hall, past doors that are no longer quiet. Inside, machines are beeping out of sync. Some fast, some dragging, none of them steady. A nurse rushes past us, pushing a cart too quickly. It rattles against the floor, metal shaking against metal. She does not stop. She does not look at us. She already knows something is wrong. This way, I say, turning toward the service corridor. The air changes the second we leave the main wing. Cooler, less filtered. The smell of antiseptic fades, replaced by something mechanical. Oil, dust, the hum of systems behind walls. Ethan keeps up beside me. His phone rings again. He silences it without looking. That is new. Before, he would have answered everything. Now he is choosing what matters. That matters. How far, he asks. 2 floors down, I say. Central distribution sits below surgical storage. Dr. Bell exhales behind us. Not relief. Something closer to dread. The stairwell door swings open with a heavy sound. The echo follows us inside. Concrete walls. Dim lights. The alarm is muffled here, but not gone. It leaks through the structure like pressure through a crack. I take the stairs 2 at a time. The rhythm of my steps matches the pulse in my ears. Not panic. Focus. Ethan follows, steady, controlled. Dr. Bell stumbles once on the first landing, catches himself, then keeps going. No one speaks for a full flight. Then Ethan breaks the silence. You said this was rerouted, he says. Not broken. Yes, I answer. Broken systems fail unevenly. This is too clean, too targeted. Another step. Another echo. Someone is controlling where the oxygen goes, I add. He does not respond right away. That is the first time since I met him that he does not have an immediate answer. That tells me he is starting to see the scale. We reach the lower level door. It is locked. Of course it is. I hold out my hand. Ethan gives me his badge without a word. I press it to the reader. Green light. The door unlocks with a dull click. Inside, the air is warmer. Thicker. The hum is louder here. Not background anymore. Dominant. Rows of pipes line the ceiling, each labeled, each feeding a different section of the building. The central panel sits against the far wall. Lights blink across it in steady patterns. Except for one section. That part is flashing red. Not error. Override. I walk straight to it. No hesitation. The closer I get, the clearer it becomes. The flow indicators are uneven. One line is pulling more than it should. Another is starved. Not. Random. Directed. I place my hand against the panel. It vibrates. Strong. Active. There. I say, pointing to the main junction. Ethan steps beside me. He follows my finger. His eyes narrow. That line feeds VIP, he says. And surgical overflow, I reply. Dr. Bell stops a few feet behind us. He does not come closer. His breathing is louder now. Not from the stairs. From something else. I reach for the control switch. It resists. Locked again. Different level this time. Not bedside. Not wing access. This is administrative override. Who set this? Ethan asks. I do not answer. I look at Dr. Bell instead. He shakes his head immediately. Too fast. Too defensive. The panel beeps once. A new alert flashes across the screen. Another room has dropped below threshold. The system updates in real time. The pull is increasing, not slowing. I press the switch harder. It does not move. Ethan steps closer to Dr. Bell. Not aggressive. Not loud. But direct. Who has clearance here, he asks. Dr. Bell swallows. His eyes flick to the panel, then to the door, then back to Ethan. He is thinking about something. Or someone. The hum in the room shifts slightly. The flow line spikes for a second, then drops again. That is not normal behavior. That is adjustment. Live adjustment. Someone is still connected to this system. Right now, I feel it in the vibration under my hand. In the way the panel responds without input from us. I step back. Just half a step. Enough to see the full board. Enough to understand the pattern. We are not alone in this system, I say. Ethan looks at me, then at the panel, then back at me. The silence stretches between us, heavy and sharp. Then the panel flickers once, and a new access point lights up on the screen. The new access point blinks in a steady rhythm. Not red like an error, not green like approval, but amber, active, controlled, alive. I step closer and read the label. Remote session active. The timestamp updates in real time. Seconds ticking forward. Whoever is on the other side is still connected. Still watching. The hum under the panel deepens, like the system is responding to a command we cannot hear. Ethan leans in beside me, his reflection, sharp against the glass surface. Can you trace it? He asks. His voice is lower now. Focused. I shake my head once. Not from here, I say. This panel only shows what is happening, not where it starts. Another alert flashes across the screen. Room 412. Oxygen level critical. The number scrolls past too fast, replaced by another. Then another. The list is growing, not slowing. They are expanding the pull, I say. More rooms are being affected. Dr. Bell shifts behind us. I hear the scrape of his shoe against the concrete floor. He is not steady anymore. This has to be a system glitch, he says, but the words fall flat before they reach the wall. No one believes that now. Not even him. I press my hand against the panel again. The vibration is stronger. The system is under load. Not failing. Strained. There is a difference. Look at the distribution, I say, pointing to the flow map. Ethan follows my hand. The lines are uneven, but not random. They converge. One direction. One endpoint. Where does that lead, he asks. I trace the line with my finger across the screen. It moves past VIP, past surgical overflow, past recovery. It ends at a single designation. Isolation Wing C. The label sits there, quiet, almost hidden beneath the alerts. Ethan's eyes narrow. That wing is closed, he says. Not anymore, I reply. The panel pulses once, like it heard us. The amber light flickers, then steadies again. Whoever is connected just made another adjustment. The flow spikes toward that endpoint. Another room alert flashes. Another drop. The system is feeding something down there. Something that needs more oxygen than it should. Why redirect from critical patients? Ethan asks. Not to me. To the room. To the silence. I do not answer right away. I watch the numbers. The pattern is not just demand. It is priority. The system is choosing what to starve and what to feed. That means it was told to. Because whatever is in isolation C is being kept alive at any cost, I say. The words settle hard. Dr. Bell exhales sharply. Too sharply. I turn toward him. His face has lost color. Not fear alone. Recognition. What is in that wing? I ask. He does not answer. His eyes flick. To Ethan, then away. That hesitation is enough. Ethan steps closer to him. Answer her, he says. Not loud. Not aggressive. But final. Dr. Bell swallows. His throat moves once. Twice. It was supposed to be empty, he says. After the last audit, we shut it down. The panel beeps again. Another override command. The flow shifts slightly, like a valve turning somewhere far below us. Supposed to be, I repeat. I step back from the panel and look at the full system again. The amber light pulses once more. Still connected. Still active. They are not just pulling oxygen, I say. They are controlling distribution in real time. Ethan looks at the panel, then at the door behind us, then back at me. His decision comes fast now. No hesitation left. We go to isolation C, he says. Dr. Bell freezes. We are not authorized, he says quickly. Too quickly. I meet his eyes. Neither is whoever is running this. I reply. The panel flickers again. The amber light brightens for a split second, then dims. A new line appears on the screen. Not a room. A command cue. Incoming. The system is about to change again. I step toward the door before it does. The moment I push the door open, the panel behind us beeps twice, sharp and fast, like it just received a command we cannot see. The hum shifts again. Stronger. Hungrier. I do not look back. I move into the corridor, and the air feels different here. Heavier. Warmer. The kind of air that has been recycled too many times. Ethan is right behind me. His steps match mine now. No hesitation. Dr. Bell lingers for half a second, then follows, his breathing uneven. The hallway toward isolation wing C is narrower than the main floor. The lights are dimmer. Not broken. Just lowered. Intentional. The alarm from above fades as we move deeper, replaced by a steady mechanical thrum that runs through the walls like a second heartbeat. Why is this section active? Ethan asks. His voice echoes slightly. I keep walking. Because someone turned it back on, I say. The doors along the corridor are sealed. No windows. No movement. But the floor beneath my feet vibrates faintly. Not footsteps. Flow. I feel it through my shoes. That same pressure from the panel. Stronger here. We reach the first security door. It is heavier than the others. Reinforced. The reader beside it blinks red before I even touch it. Locked down. Ethan steps forward and presses his badge. The reader pauses longer than before. A delay. Then green. The lock releases with a deep click that echoes down the hall. That delay should not be there. Someone added an extra layer. We step through. The air shifts again. Sharper now. Cleaner, but colder. Like the system is working harder in this section. I hear it in the vents. A steady rush, constant, controlled. Not fluctuating like the upper floors. That tells me everything. This is where the oxygen is going. Listen, I say. Ethan tilts his head slightly. He hears it. The difference. The consistency. Dr. Bell stops just inside the door. He does not want to go further. That is clear. This wing is not cleared for entry, he says. His voice is tight. Controlled, but strained. I do not slow down. It is cleared for oxygen, I reply. Another door ahead. This one has a small window. Frosted. I move closer and wipe a small circle with my sleeve. Inside, the room is lit. Bright. Too bright for an empty wing. Equipment lines the walls. Active. Not stored. Running. The monitor inside shows steady numbers. Stable. Perfectly stable. That is not normal. Not when the rest of the hospital is dropping. That room is receiving full flow, I say. Ethan looks through the glass beside me. His reflection overlaps with the light inside. Who authorized this? He asks. I do not answer. I move to the next door. Another window. Another active room. Same pattern. Same stability. Perfect readings. Too perfect. The system is prioritizing this entire wing. Dr. Bell exhales sharply behind us. That sound again. Recognition. Guilt. You knew? I say without turning. He does not deny it this time. Silence confirms it. We keep moving. The hum grows louder with each step. The pressure in the air increases slightly. Not enough to notice at first. Enough to feel if you know what to look for. My ears adjust. My breathing changes. The system is pushing harder here, feeding something that demands it. We reach the central room at the end of the corridor. Larger door. Reinforced frame. No window. The reader beside it is dark. Not red. Not green. Off. That is worse. I reach for it anyway. Nothing. No response. Ethan steps forward and tries his badge. Nothing. The system is bypassed here. Manual lock only. I press my hand against the door. Cold metal. Solid. But I feel the vibration through it. Stronger than anywhere else. Whatever is inside is pulling the most flow. The source. The endpoint. This is it, I say. Ethan nods once. No doubt. No hesitation. Dr. Bell steps forward slowly. He does not want to, but he does. His hand trembles slightly as he reaches into his coat pocket. He pulls out a key card. Different from ours. Older. Physical override. That should not exist in a system this new. He hesitates for 1 second, then slides it into the slot. The mechanism inside the door shifts. Heavy. Mechanical. Not digital. A deep lock disengages. The sound echoes down the corridor. The hum behind the door spikes for a brief moment. Like something reacted to the change. Ethan looks at me. I meet his gaze. No words. Just understanding. Dr. Bell pulls the door handle. It does not open immediately. He has to pull harder. The seal breaks with a low hiss. Cold air spills out into the hallway. Not normal cold. Controlled cold. Preserved. The lights inside flicker once as the door opens a few inches. Then stop. Everything goes still for a second. Even the hum changes. Softer. Focused. I step forward and place my hand on the edge of the door. The gap widens slowly. And the first thing I see inside is not a patient, not a bed, but a full control station glowing in the center of the room. The glow from the control station fills the room before the door is fully open, soft blue light cutting through the cold air that spills out around my legs. I step inside first. The temperature drops instantly, at least 10 degrees colder than the hallway, maybe more. The hum here is different. Focused. Not scattered like the rest of the system. Every sound feels intentional. Every vibration controlled. Ethan follows close behind me. Dr. Bell stays at the threshold for a second too long, then forces himself in. The door closes halfway behind us with a low, heavy sound. Not locked, but close enough to feel like it. The control station sits in the center of the room, surrounded by monitors arranged in a perfect arc. Each screen shows a different section of the hospital. Oxygen levels, flow rates, room by room, live. Every fluctuation mapped in real time. I move closer. The screens respond as I approach, brightness adjusting slightly, like the system is aware of presence. That is not standard. That is adaptive. Someone designed this to be used actively, not just monitored. This is not a backup station, I say quietly. Ethan does not answer. His eyes scan the screens, moving fast, absorbing everything. Numbers, patterns, control points. This is central command, I add. The words land differently in this room. He nods once. Slow. Understanding settling in. One of the monitors shifts. Not a glitch. A command. A line reroutes in front of us. The oxygen flow increases toward one of the sealed rooms we passed. The system is still active. Still being controlled. I look around. No one else is here. No movement. No sound except the system itself. That means whoever is running this is not physically present. Remote. That matches the panel upstairs. The amber session. Still connected. I step closer to the main console and place my hand near the interface. The surface lights up under my fingers. Access required. Not surprising. I do not touch it yet. I watch. The system updates again. Another room alert clears. Not because the patient improved. Because the system diverted flow back just enough to stabilize the numbers. Temporary. Controlled relief. They are managing the drops, I say. not fixing them. Ethan exhales slowly. He sees it now. The pattern. The intent. Dr. Bell finally steps further into the room. His shoes echo against the floor. He looks at the screens like he is seeing them for the first time. Or like he hoped he never would. This was not supposed to be active, he says. His voice is barely above a whisper. I glance at him. But it is, I reply. Another monitor shifts. The flow spikes again toward the central chamber behind us. The endpoint. The place drawing everything. In. I turn toward the far side of the room. That is when I see it. Not immediately clear. Not obvious at first. But once I focus, it stands out. Behind the control station, separated by a glass partition, there is a single bed. Isolated. Surrounded by equipment far more advanced than anything on the main floors. The monitors around it are stable. Perfect. No fluctuation. No alarms. Just a steady, controlled rhythm. The oxygen feed to that bed is the highest in the entire system. I step closer to the glass. The surface is cold, frosted at the edges from the temperature difference. I wipe a small section clear with my sleeve. Ethan moves beside me. Dr. Bell does not follow. He already knows what is behind that glass. That is clear from the way he stops moving. The figure on the bed is still, covered partially by a thin blanket. Tubes run from the equipment to the patient, each one steady, each one precise. No urgency here. No struggle. Just maintenance. Sustained life. That is where it is going, I say. My voice stays even. Controlled. But the meaning lands heavy. Ethan leans closer to the glass. His reflection overlaps with the figure inside. For a second, he does not speak. Then his jaw tightens. Recognition. Not full yet, but enough to change something in his posture. The system behind us beeps again. A new command executes. The oxygen flow increases once more. Not to the hospital. To this room. To this bed. I turn back to the control station. The interface is still waiting. Access required. The remote session indicator flashes on one of the screens. Active. Watching. Responding. Whoever is controlling this knows we are here now. I can feel it in the timing. In the way the system reacts faster than before. I place my hand flat against the console. Not activating it. Just grounding myself. The hum under my palm is steady. Strong. Alive. They are not hiding anymore. I say. Ethan turns slightly toward me. His eyes are sharper now. Focused in a way they were not before. Dr. Bell finally speaks again, his voice strained. You should not interfere, he says. You do not understand what is at stake. I look at him. Then back at the bed behind the glass. Then at the screens showing rooms across the hospital struggling to hold stable numbers. The system beeps again. Another shift. Another diversion. I move my hand closer to the interface. 1 inch. Then another. And just before I touch it, one of the monitors flickers and a message appears across the center screen. A line of text spreads across the center monitor in sharp, white letters, clean and deliberate. Not an error, not a warning, a message. Do not override the system. The words sit there, steady, like they belong. The hum in the room tightens around them. I do not pull my hand back. I keep it hovering just above the interface. Ethan reads it once. Then again. His reflection in the screen hardens. That is not automated, he says. I nod slightly. No, I reply. That is a person. The message does not blink. It does not fade. It waits. That is worse. I shift my gaze to the remote session indicator. Still active. Still watching. The timing matches too closely to be coincidence. They saw me move. They responded. I glance at the glass behind the console. The patient inside remains still. Stable. Every line feeding them steady and strong. The system is protecting that stability. At any cost. Another alert flashes on the side monitor. Room 318. Oxygen below threshold. The number drops, then stalls, then drops again. The system does not correct it. Not this time. It holds the flow here. To this room. To that bed. They are choosing, I say. Ethan exhales slowly. Between patients, he finishes. The words hang in the air. Dr. Bell steps forward, just enough to be heard. You do not understand, he says again. His voice is tighter now. More urgent. I turn toward him. Then explain, I say. He hesitates. That is all I need to see. He is not protecting a system. He is protecting a decision. A choice that was already made before we walked in. The monitor beeps again. Another room dips. Another number turns red. The system does nothing. It holds its line. I move my hand closer to the interface. The message remains. No change. No escalation. Just that one line. Calm. Controlled. Confident. That confidence tells me everything. They believe we will stop. That we will hesitate. That we will choose the safe option. Ethan shifts beside me. If you override, what happens? He asks. His voice is low. Measured. I keep my eyes on the screen. The system will rebalance, I say. Flow will redistribute across all rooms. I pause for half a second, including this one. I glance at the bed behind the glass. The steady numbers. The perfect stability. Which means this patient loses priority. I add. Ethan does not respond right away. I can feel the weight of that choice settle on him. Not theoretical anymore. Immediate. Real. Dr. Bell steps closer. Faster now. You cannot do that, he says. That patient requires constant high flow. His voice cracks on the last word. Fear. Not for the system. For the person behind the glass. I look at him. So do the others, I say. He shakes his head. Not like this, he insists. The system beeps again. Another command executes. The flow increases toward the central bed. The numbers on the side monitors drop in response. It is happening in front of us. Live. No delay. No disguise. The message on the main screen does not change. Still there. Still watching. I shift my stance slightly. Ground my feet. The cold air presses against my skin. The hum fills my chest. Every sense sharp. Every detail clear. This is not a system failure. This is control. Intentional. Directed. And whoever is on the other side is not stopping. I move my hand forward. 1 inch closer to the interface. The screen responds. A new prompt appears beneath the message. Authorization required. Level 7 clearance. Ethan sees it at the same time I do. He reaches into his pocket without looking away from the screen. Pulls out his badge. He holds it out to me. No words. Just the action. I take it. The plastic is warm from his hand. He knows what this means now. Fully. No hesitation left. Dr. Bell steps between us and the console. Not aggressive, but blocking. If you do this, you could destabilize the entire wing, he says. I meet his eyes. It is already destabilized, I reply. The system beeps again. Louder this time. The panel lights flicker once. The remote session indicator pulses brighter. Whoever is watching knows what we are about to do. The message on the screen shifts for the first time. One word changes. Not the tone. Not the structure. Just one detail. Final warning. The room goes quieter somehow. Even the hum feels more focused. Ethan does not move. He stands beside me, steady, present. Dr. Bell does not step back. But he does not step forward either. He is caught between two outcomes he cannot control anymore. I lift the badge toward the scanner. The interface glows brighter in response. The system is waiting. Watching. Ready. And just before I press the badge to the panel, the monitor behind the glass flickers once, and the steady rhythm inside that room skips for the first time. The steady rhythm behind the glass skips once, then again, not a full collapse, just a fracture in something that had been perfect until now. My hand freezes midair with Ethan's badge inches from the scanner. The hum in the room tightens, sharper, like the system is reacting faster than before. The monitor inside that sealed room flickers a second time. The numbers dip by 1 point, then hold. Not stable anymore. Not perfect. Ethan sees it. I hear the shift in his breathing. You did not touch anything, he says. Not a question. I shake my head. No, I reply. That means only one thing. Whoever is on the other side just adjusted something. Not a warning. A demonstration. Dr. Bell steps back without realizing it. His shoulder hits the edge of the console. The sound echoes louder than it should. They are showing you the consequence, he says, voice low, almost shaking. I keep my eyes on the glass. The patient inside does not move, but the system around them does. One line pulses faster. Another compensates. The oxygen feed increases again. The numbers climb back to where they were. Perfect. Controlled. As if the drop never happened. The message on the main screen remains. Final warning. No blinking. No urgency. Just certainty. I lower the badge slightly. Not away. Just enough to think. The system is not just redistributing flow. It is actively maintaining that one patient above all others. And it can respond instantly. Faster than we can act. That changes the risk. Ethan steps closer to the glass. He studies the figure on the bed, longer this time. Not just recognition now. Something deeper. Something personal. Who is that? I ask quietly. He does not answer right away. His reflection overlaps with the still form inside. The machines hum between them. Dr. Bell closes his eyes for a brief second, then opens them again. That hesitation is all I need. I turn toward him. You know, I say. He exhales slowly. It is not supposed to be public, he says. The words are careful, measured, too controlled. The system beeps again. Another room alert flashes across the side monitor. Oxygen level critical. The number drops. The system does nothing. It holds its line. I shift my focus back to the console. The interface is still waiting. Authorization required. Level 7 clearance. Ethan's badge is still in my hand. Warm. Ready. The remote session indicator pulses again. Brighter this time. The system is not hiding anymore. It is engaging. If we override, they will respond. I say. Not a guess. A fact. Ethan nods once. Then we respond faster, he says. His voice is different now. Not cold. Not dismissive. Focused. Aligned. Dr. Bell steps forward again, urgency breaking through his restraint. You do not understand what you are interfering with, he says. This is not just a patient. I meet his eyes. Then say what it is, I reply. Silence. 1 second. 2. The hum fills the gap. Then the panel shifts again. Another command executes. The flow to the central bed spikes higher than before. The numbers jump. The system is compensating preemptively now, anticipating our move. That confirms it. They are watching in real time. Not delayed. Not filtered. Direct. I lift the badge again. Closer to the scanner now. The interface glows brighter in response. Dr. Bell reaches out slightly, then stops himself. He does not touch me. He cannot. The choice is no longer his. Ethan does not move. He stands beside me, steady, silent, but present in a way that changes the room. The message on the screen flickers once, then expands. More text appears beneath it. Not a warning now. A statement. Override will terminate priority support. The words are precise. Clinical. Final. I glance at the glass. Again. The patient remains still. Sustained. Perfectly maintained by a system that is pulling from everywhere else. I think of the rooms above. The alarms. The dropping numbers. The patients who are not being prioritized. The system beeps again. Another alert. Another drop. The balance is already broken. I press the badge to the scanner. The panel accepts it instantly. Green light floods the interface. The system unlocks with a soft click that feels louder than any alarm. Dr. Bell exhales sharply. Ethan does not move. The screen shifts. New controls appear. Manual redistribution. Full access. The system is open now. Fully exposed. I place my hand on the console. The hum under my palm surges slightly. Alive. Responsive. Waiting. And just before I initiate the override, the lights in the room dim for a fraction of a second, and every monitor in front of us switches to a single live feed. Every screen in front of us shifts at the same time, not flickering, not glitching, but switching with precision to a single live feed that fills the entire wall of monitors. The room behind the glass disappears from view, replaced by a close, centered image of a man sitting somewhere else, somewhere not in this building. He is still, composed. The lighting around him is soft, controlled, like he expected to be seen. His eyes look directly into the camera, not searching, not adjusting, already locked in, watching us. The hum in the room steadies, as if even the system is waiting now. I do not move my hand from the console. I do not look away. Ethan steps half a pace forward, instinct, but he stops himself. Dr. Bell exhales behind us, a quiet sound that carries more weight than anything he has said so far. The man on the screen does not speak immediately. He lets the silence stretch. Measured. Intentional. Then he leans forward slightly, just enough to change the angle of the light across his face. You have access you should not have, he says. His voice is clear. Calm. No distortion. Direct connection. I glance at the remote session indicator. Still active. Stronger now. He is not just observing. He is inside the system. You are diverting oxygen from critical patients, I reply. My voice stays even. Controlled. I keep my hand near the override, not touching it yet. His expression does not change. Not even a flicker. I am maintaining a life that cannot be lost, he says. Not defensive. Not apologetic. Absolute. Ethan shifts beside me. At the cost of everyone else? He asks. The man's gaze moves to him. Slow. Assessing. There is recognition there. Not surprise. He expected this. You understand cost, the man says quietly. Better than most. Ethan's jaw tightens. He does not answer. The monitors around the main feed begin to populate with smaller windows again, but all of them show the same thing. Data. Oxygen levels dropping in real time across multiple floors. Alerts stacking faster than before. The system is not hiding it anymore. It is showing us the consequence. The man on the screen watches us watch it. That is deliberate. This system was designed for control, he continues. Not fairness. I feel the console vibrate under my hand. The system is still active, still adjusting, still prioritizing. You built this. I ask. He does not answer directly. I oversee what matters, he says instead. The wording is precise. Chosen. Dr. Bell steps forward without thinking. We cannot sustain this rate, he says. The upper floors are already destabilizing. The man's eyes shift to him. Brief. Dismissive. Then you should have prepared better, he replies. No hesitation. No concern. The room tightens again. The hum sharpens. Another alert flashes across the side monitors. 2 rooms now critical. Not 1. The numbers drop faster this time. The system does not compensate. It holds its priority. I feel it in the vibration. In the way the flow map pulses toward the central bed behind us. The man's voice cuts through the sound. You are standing in a room that exists to make difficult decisions, he says. Do not pretend this is new. I glance at the glass behind us. The patient remains stable, perfectly sustained. The system continues to feed that stability. You are not making a decision, I say. You already made it. His expression shifts for the first time. Not emotion, not regret, just acknowledgement. Yes, he says. The word lands clean. Final. Ethan exhales slowly beside me. The weight of it settles in. Not a mistake. Not an error. A choice. Fully owned. The system beeps again. Louder now. More urgent. The alerts stack across the screens, overlapping, competing for attention. The man on the screen does not react. He watches. Waits. If you override, he says, you will lose the one outcome that matters. I do not respond. I move my hand closer to the control. The interface glows brighter in anticipation. The system is ready. The man sees it. His eyes narrow slightly. You think this is about numbers, he adds. It is not. I meet his gaze. Then what is it about? I ask. There is a pause. Not long. Just enough to feel deliberate. Then he answers. That patient is not replaceable. The words hang in the air. Heavy. Specific. Ethan turns slightly toward the glass behind us again. This time, he does not look away. The connection is clearer now. The reason is closer. The system pulses once more. The flow increases again. The numbers above continue to fall. I tighten my grip on the edge of the console. The decision is no longer abstract. It is immediate. It is active. It is happening in real time. The man on the screen leans back slightly. You have seconds, he says. Not a threat. A fact. The hum in the room rises. The alerts intensify. The system holds its line. And the override control in front of me waits for a single input. The override control glows under my hand, steady, patient, waiting for a single command that will ripple through the entire building. The alarms on the side monitors stack faster now, red lines bleeding into one another, room after room dropping below safe levels. The hum is no longer background. It presses into my chest, into my ears, into the space between every second. I do not look at the man on the screen. I look at the numbers. That is where the truth is. Ethan shifts beside me. His voice is low. If you do it, there is no way to isolate the change. I shake my head once. It hits everything, I say. All at once. The system beeps again. 3 new alerts. Faster this time. The pattern is accelerating. Dr. Bell takes a step closer, his hands slightly raised, not touching, but close enough to feel the tension in the air. You could collapse the stability in that room, he says. Completely. I glance toward the glass. The patient inside remains still. Perfect numbers. Perfect rhythm. Sustained by everything else losing ground. I turn back to the console. The interface pulses once, brighter. The system senses hesitation. The man on the screen watches without blinking. You are not choosing between many and one, he says. You are choosing between losing everything and preserving what cannot be replaced. His voice stays calm, controlled. measured like the system itself. I do not respond. I place my fingers on the edge of the override panel. Not pressing yet. Feeling the vibration. Feeling the flow underneath the surface. The system is alive in a way it should not be. Ethan exhales slowly. Who is he to you? I ask, still looking at the screen. The man does not answer. Not directly. His eyes shift for half a second. Toward Ethan. Then back to me. That is enough. Ethan's posture changes. Subtle, but real. His shoulders tighten. His gaze hardens. Say it, Ethan says quietly. The man leans forward again. Just enough. He is the only one who can finish what we started, he says. The words land differently than the others. Not clinical. Not technical. Personal. Dr. Bell looks down at the floor. That confirms it. This is not just a patient. This is an outcome. A project. Something bigger than a single life. The system beeps again. Louder. More urgent. The numbers on the side monitors drop faster now. 2 rooms fall into critical at the same time. The system does not respond. It holds its priority. I feel it in the console. In the way the flow map pulses harder toward the glass behind us. You built a system to choose for you. I say. The man's expression does not change. I built a system to protect what matters, he replies. I tighten my grip slightly. The decision sharpens in my chest. Not emotional. Not reactive. Clear. And you decided what matters, I say. He does not deny it. Ethan steps closer to the glass. He looks at the patient longer this time. Then he turns back. He is not the only one who matters, he says. His voice is steady. Not loud, but final. The man on the screen studies him for a moment. Then he leans back. The distance between him and the camera increases slightly. Then prove it, he says. The system hum rises. The alerts intensify. The interface flashes once. The override control brightens. Ready. I press my hand flat against the panel. No more hesitation. No more waiting. The system recognizes the contact. The interface expands. Full redistribution ready. 1 command away. Dr. Bell inhales sharply. He knows what is coming. Ethan does not move. He stands beside me, aligned now, no longer questioning. The man on the screen watches. Still calm. Still certain. But there is a fraction of a second where his eyes narrow. Not fear. Adjustment. He did not expect this. I press down on the override. The system reacts instantly. The hum shifts. The flow map fractures across the screen, lines breaking and reconnecting in new patterns. Oxygen redistributes across every floor. The side monitors spike, then stabilize, numbers climbing back from critical. Not perfect, not controlled, but alive. The glass behind us fogs slightly as the pressure changes. The steady rhythm inside that room stutters. Not a collapse, but no longer perfect. No longer protected above everything else. Dr. Bell grips the edge of the console to steady himself. Ethan does not look away. The man on the screen finally reacts. Not with anger. Not with panic. With silence. A different kind of silence. The kind that follows a decision that cannot be undone. The system continues to rebalance. The alarms above begin to change tone. Not gone, but less urgent. The building breathes again. Uneven. Imperfect. Real. I lift my hand from the panel. The override holds. The system is no longer following a single priority. It is distributing across all. The man on the screen leans forward once more. Slower this time. You have no idea what you just disrupted, he says. I meet his gaze. Yes, I reply. The words stay simple. Clear. Final. Behind us, the monitor inside the glass room drops 1 more point. And this time, it does not recover immediately. The number on the monitor behind the glass drops again, slower this time. Not a sharp fall, but a steady slide that does not correct itself. The hum in the room changes with it, less focused, less controlled, like the system is no longer holding a single line. I keep my eyes on the screens in front of me. The side monitors begin to stabilize, one by one. Room 318 climbs out of critical. Then 412. Then another. The alerts do not disappear, but they soften. They spread out instead of stacking. The building is breathing again. Not perfectly, but evenly. Ethan exhales beside me. It is the first full breath he has taken since we entered this room. He does not look at the man on the screen. He looks at the data. That matters more now. Dr. Bell grips the edge of the console tighter. His knuckles turn pale. He watches the glass behind us without blinking. You need to reverse it, he says. His voice is strained. Urgent. I do not turn. No, I reply. Simple. Direct. The system beeps again. Not an alarm this time. A status update. Redistribution active. The flow map continues to adjust in real time. Lines shifting, balancing, correcting. The pressure in the air feels different. Not forced. Not concentrated. Shared. The man on the screen leans forward slightly. His calm is still there, but something underneath it has shifted. Not control anymore. Reaction. You are trading precision for chaos, he says. His voice is sharper now. Not raised, but tighter. I shake my head once. No, I say. I am trading control for balance. The words land clean. The monitors confirm it. More rooms climb out of danger. Not all. Not instantly. But steadily. The system is doing what it was meant to do before someone changed it. Behind us, the monitor inside the glass room drops another point. Then holds. Not recovering. Not stabilizing. Just holding at a lower line. Dr. Bell takes a step toward the glass. Then another. He stops just short of touching it. His reflection overlaps with the patient inside. He will not sustain at this level, he says. The words are quiet now. Not defensive. Not protective. Just real. Ethan turns slightly toward him. Neither would the others, he replies. No anger. No accusation. Just fact. The room holds that silence for a moment. The man on the screen watches both of them. His gaze moves between us, slower now, more deliberate. The system continues to rebalance. The alerts on the side monitors thin out. The tones above shift again. Less urgent. More spaced. The building is stabilizing. The patient behind the glass is not. I step away from the console. Not far. Just enough to see the full room. The control station hums at a lower frequency now. Less strain. Less demand. I look at the glass. The figure inside remains still. The machines continue their work. But the perfection is gone. The numbers fluctuate slightly. Small variations. Human variations. Not engineered stability. He is still alive, I say. Dr. Bell nods slowly. For now, he replies. The words hang in the air. Honest. Unfiltered. Ethan steps closer to the glass again. He studies the patient longer this time. Not searching. Not questioning. Just seeing. Then he turns back toward the screen. The man on it has not moved. Not much. But his posture is different now. Less certain. Less absolute. You made your choice, the man says. The statement is flat. Not a challenge. Not approval. Just acknowledgement. I meet his gaze. So did you, I reply. The system beeps once more. A new status line appears across the interface. Equilibrium reached. Not perfect. Not optimal. But balanced. The hum in the room settles into a steady rhythm. The air feels lighter. Less forced. The glass behind us remains cold, but the pressure has eased. The man on the screen leans back slightly. The distance between him and the camera grows again. He studies us for a moment longer. Then his hand moves out of frame. The feed flickers once. Not a failure. A decision. He is about to disconnect. Ethan watches him. Silent. Still. Dr. Bell does not move. He remains fixed on the glass. The system holds its new state. The building stabilizes. The patient behind the glass remains alive, but no longer above everything else. The screen in front of us dims slightly as the connection weakens. The man's face blurs for a fraction of a second, then sharpens again. One last look. One last calculation. Then the feed cuts to black. The room falls into a different kind of silence. Not tense. Not controlled. Just quiet. And behind us, the monitor inside the glass room lets out a single, uneven beep. The uneven beep behind the glass stretches longer than the ones before it. Not sharp, not urgent, just different enough to pull every eye in the room toward it at once. I turn slowly. The monitor holds its line for a second, then dips by one more point. Not a collapse. Not a failure. Just a system adjusting to a reality it can no longer control completely. The hum in the room settles into something quieter. Not gone. Just balanced. I step closer to the glass. The cold surface presses against my fingertips. The patient inside remains still, but the perfection is gone now. The numbers shift in small increments. Real. Unstable in the way all living systems are. Ethan moves beside me, his reflection overlapping mine. He does not speak. He does not need to. The silence between us carries more weight than anything said before. Behind us, the control station continues its steady rhythm. The side monitors show stabilized lines across the building. Not perfect, Not uniform, but holding. That matters. Dr. Bell exhales slowly. The sound is different now. Not fear. Not resistance. Something closer to acceptance. He steps forward, closer to the glass than before. His shoulders drop slightly, like a weight has shifted. He will need constant monitoring, he says quietly. I nod once. So will the others, I reply. The words do not carry accusation. Just truth. The system beeps again. A status line updates across the interface. Manual oversight required. The automated control is no longer enough. That is the cost. Balance requires presence. It requires choice. Not once. Continuously. Ethan turns away from the glass and looks back at the console. His posture has changed. Less rigid. Less certain in the way he was before. But clearer. Grounded. He steps toward the control station and rests his hand on the edge. Not taking control, just acknowledging it. This stays open, he says. Not to me. Not to Dr. Bell. To the room. To the system. I glance at him. He meets my eyes for a brief second. There is no dismissal there anymore. No distance. Just understanding. Dr. Bell nods slowly, almost to himself. The resistance is gone. The system holds steady. The alarms above have softened into distant signals. Not urgent. Not stacking. Managed. I look back at the glass one more time. The patient inside remains alive. Not elevated above everything else. Not sacrificed. Just part of the same system now. Equal to it. That is the difference. The hum in the room continues, low and even, like a heartbeat that no longer needs to fight to be heard. I step back from the glass. The cold fades from my fingertips. The air feels lighter now. Not empty. Just shared. Ethan moves toward the door slowly. Not rushed. Not tense. He pauses for a second, then looks back at the control station, then at the glass. One last look. Not as a man in control. As someone who has seen what control costs. Dr. Bell stays where he is. Closer to the glass than before. Watching. Learning. Adjusting. The system continues to run. Not perfectly, but honestly. I turn toward the door and reach for the handle. The metal is cool under my hand. The hallway beyond is quieter than before. The alarms are distant now. Managed. The building is holding. I pull the door open. The hum follows us out, softer with each step. Ethan walks beside me. Not ahead. Not behind. Aligned. The corridor stretches out in front of us. No longer narrow. No longer closing in. Just a path forward. We move without speaking. There is nothing left to argue. Nothing left to prove. Behind us, the control room continues its steady rhythm. The system holds its balance. And somewhere above, in rooms we cannot see, the numbers continue to rise and fall, not perfect, not controlled, but alive in a way they were not before.